This is me and my mom, Janet Cheatham Bell. In this episode, we're going to see what we can find out about her branch of the family tree. And in classic Janet Bell fashion, she's not expecting much. Let's see what happens.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
My mom was born and raised in Indianapolis, Indiana. But like most black people in the so-called North, her roots are further south. Hers are in Tennessee. But for some reason, we're on a military base? Leave it to my family to do things differently.
Hello, Kamau. Hello, Janet. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Welcome to Tennessee. Last time we saw each other, you were telling me about your great-grandfather, John Johnson.
Yes.
We located the land that he used to live on. So we thought we'd take you for a little adventure so that you could see it.
Wow. Wow.
You up for it?
Watch your step.
The producers thought the walk would be too tough for my 81-year-old mom. But when they told her they didn't plan for her to do it, she wasn't having any of it.
No, we're just going to do it here.
I want to go.
She wants to go. She wants to go.
Yeah.
You will say when to stop.
Believe me, I will.
She has her own power of attorney. So my great-great-grandfather's land was purchased by the government in the early 1940s. This is not exactly the homecoming I was expecting, in more ways than one.
Blow up in your nose.
Yep.
Wow.
That's okay. It's a family mosquito.
So this is the land that John Johnson had. It is now currently part of Fort Campbell, one of the largest military installations in the country.
It is sort of interesting that the land is owned by the government. Like it just feels like, of course. People talk about going back to their family plots. They don't. You don't think of it as being on an army base.
Can you imagine living here?
No.
I can.
Yes, you could. I could not. This is a little bit remote for me.
I like
I know
having
you do.
green stuff around.
I know you do. What do you feel when you're standing here?
Well, it feels like a connection. That my mother and her cousins ran around on this ground. Wasn't this overgrown in my head. But I did imagine it to be beautiful, though. Makes me think about her because I think that's when she was happy.
So my mom just said that my grandmother was happiest in Tennessee before she was married with kids. We don't have time to unpack all that. But the land is not all that's still here from this time. Just a 5-minute walk from here is this place, Woodlawn Elizabeth Missionary Baptist Church. Wait, does that say Cheatham? So the pastor's name is C.R. Cheatham, but Cheatham is my mom's dad's last name. But we're supposed to be tracing my mom's roots. Are we related to this dude? What in the royal family is going on?
Okay, Cheatham.
My parents are from these parts.
They're from these parts. My father comes from Bumpers Mill.
Oh boy, we're related.
So
We're definitely related.
the pastor agreed
Yeah.
to take an AncestryDNA test?
Oh, really?
Yes. So he did the whole test.
Yes.
And we're happy to tell you, you guys are all related.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. We don't have the results
Oh,
back
geez.
yet. So we'll find out if you're related.
So my new cousin, or uncle, or cousin uncle, Pastor Cheatham, wanted to tell us about the church's history.
This church has been here 153 years. And you know when the first building was here?
Well, the first one was the rest house.
Okay.
I know this man.
Wait, what's happening here?
You and I have met before, haven't we? Yeah, at Denise's house.
Denise's house?
I met him. As soon as I saw him, I thought, I know him.
At first I thought this was just a part of Ancestry surprises, but nope, my mom knowing this dude was even a surprise to Ancestry. Turns out we're related to this guy too. Another cousin uncle. Now down to the basement. To me, church basements mean funerals and fish fries, but today it means more family.
These are some of the original members that was here. See, it said Woodlawn Elizabeth Baptist Church, 1909.
And then if you look right there,
Oh, James Halyard.
and under here.
Wow. Webby Halyard. Oh, so my grandparents were some of the original members. Wow.
So we're in the church that your people worshiped in for many years.
Yes, my mother's church, the home church. I've heard her talk about it many times.
You told us, go looking for John Johnson. And I told you, come on, give me a better name than John Johnson, right? But we wanted to find some things about his family. So I'd like to tell you the story about one of the older brothers.
Okay.
Okay, hold up, wait a minute. It's time for a family tree, because even I'm confused. The names in the church basement, James and Webby Halyard, those are my mom's grandparents. So my great-great-grandfather, John Johnson, you know, the guy whose land we just saw, he had an older brother named Jacob Johnson.
What we find with Jacob is the record of him enlisting.
That's right. According to this document, in 1864, when Jacob turned 18, he enlisted to fight for the United States Colored Troops. You know that movie Glory? Well, I'm just gonna assume that Denzel Washington played my great-great-uncle.
I like the idea that somebody in my family went to war to end slavery. I like that.
It's pretty awesome, isn't it? We also have this record here where he had to fill out and answer questions.
About his life. Oh, this is
where were
this is
you
the stuff for
born?
Ancestry people. It's like, yay!
For sure.
What was your occupation?
Was a slave doing farm labor.
Wow.
Jesus.
It says, if so, state the names of all former owners, and particularly the name of your owner at the date of your enlistment. L.H. Johnson was my only owner. Oh, that's interesting.
It's remarkable to find a record that will tell us the name of the slave owner.
It's L.H. Johnson, so we know where that name came from.
Mm-hmm. I was pretty sure where it came from.
I was too.
Not the Yoruba tribe of
Yeah.
the Johnsons of Nairobi.
Okay, so this is a slave schedule from 1860. It's listing all of the slaves that he owns on his property.
Is 27 a lot, or is that like
It's kind of mid-range.
it's like middle class?
Yes.
How many slaves you got? I only have 10. Oh, well, you lower class then.
Now you know where I got my sense of humor from. While we were digging through old records, we thought we'd go outside to check out what else we could find.
James Halyard. Wow.
That's your grandfather?
Yeah, that's Mama's dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've never seen that before?
No, I've never seen that before. I had no idea, but it makes sense that he would be buried here. It all comes together. Oh my God.
This is John Johnson?
Oh, J.W. Johnson.
Yeah. What do you think when you see that?
I'm shocked because I didn't expect my great-grandfather, who was born into slavery,
Yeah.
to have a headstone. So the churches are what kept the records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause it's funny you were saying earlier, like, you thought black people didn't keep records. Well, because the government wasn't keeping records.
The government wasn't keeping
So
records,
the
but we
churches-
were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is actually where you find out who the people are.
Right. For those records, we weren't people. But here we were. It really, really makes you feel good to know how resilient and resourceful they were. Because if I think stuff is hard now, 1855,
Oh, and we're not done just yet. If you remember back in Berkeley, Jennifer presented us with the 8-name challenge.
So how awesome would it be if we could go from 2 names to 8?
That'd be pretty cool.
And of course, Ancestry came through. Despite what my mom thought, we exceeded her expectations. I can prove it.
wow, 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 wow.
Wow, indeed. Next on Finding Kamau. Some of this, some of this, a whole lot of this.
Really?